take it in, but don't look down.
'Cause I'm on top of the world, I'm on top of the world, waiting on this for a while now, paying my dues to the dirt. I've been waiting to smile, been holding it in for a while, take you with me if I can, been dreaming of this since a child. I'm on top of the world.
I've tried to cut these corners, try to take the easy way out. I kept on falling short of something. I could have gave up then, but then again I couldn't have, 'cause I've traveled all this way for something. I take it in, but don't look down.
'Cause I'm on top of the world, I'm on top of the world, waiting on this for a while now, paying my dues to the dirt. I've been waiting to smile, been holding it in for a while, take you with me if I can, been dreaming of this since a child. I'm on top of the world. 'Cause I'm on top of the world, I'm on top of the world, waiting on this for a while now, paying my dues to the dirt. I've been waiting to smile, been holding it in for a while, take you with me if I can, been dreaming of this since a child. And I know it's hard when you're falling down, and it's a long way up, and you make it round, but get up now, get up now. And I know it's hard when you're falling down, and it's a long way up, and you make it round, but get up now, get up now. I'm on top of the world, I'm on top of the world, waiting for this for a while now, paying my dues to the dirt. I've been waiting as long as possible, hold me there for a while, take you with me if I can, dreaming of this to be ours. I'm on top of the world.
Good evening and welcome to Cerritos High School's Premios de Oro. My name is Victoria Costa and I'm your ASB president. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
All right, good evening, everyone. I am Patrick Walker, the very proud principal of Cerritos High School. Happy to welcome you to our virtual Premios de Oro event tonight. Thanks for taking time to join us to recognize those students who've been positive contributors to their classes. It's a really neat tradition that we have here at Cerritos High School, where teachers select one student from each of their classes who they felt made a positive impact. And then from that group of students, they choose one student who receives the Premios de Oro medallion. Tonight, we're excited to reveal our Premios de Oro winners. Now, I have to say, I've worked at 4 different high schools, and no other high school that I've been at has an award like this. And I think it is so, so special because public high schools, we do a good job of recognizing those that are high academic achievers. But sometimes that isn't all there is. And when it comes to Premios de Oro, we recognize students for 8 different characteristics. First, they make a positive impact on the class. They are model students. They show mutual respect to their classmates. They demonstrate outstanding leadership. They support their peers. They support their instructor. They are enthusiastic about the subject, and they are an overall contributor to the class. What's new and unique about this group of honorees is that they're being recognized for those traits in a virtual learning environment, which was new to all of us. So let's talk about that virtual learning environment that we all had to learn about as we went. Some of the things that are kind of Zoom basics to us all, the things that we should do and shouldn't do, when we are either presenting or learning in a Zoom environment? First off, manage your mute button. I mean, I don't know how many times I've heard in the last year, you're muted, you're muted, while that jaw is just flapping silently away. Or even worse, when your mute button isn't on, and you got the TV in the background, or your brother playing bass in the garage, distracting everybody. Manage that mute button. Broadcast from the right location. That can be a distraction as well. I'm a little OCD, and you know, those dirty dishes in the background, I can't learn my math. I'm focused on the pasta sauce on the plate. Don't be texting or talking on your cell phone during a class. That's rude. Some of these make a lot of sense and they're obvious. Don't walk away. Now, I guess you can ask permission to walk away, and I learned that was happening in the chat box. It took me a while. I was reading through the chat box early on in this Zoom era of virtual learning, and I thought, what's that BRB, burb? Burb. Oh, it's some kind of secret code language these students are sharing. Well, after a while, I saw it appear on many classes and realized, oh, okay, be right back. Okay. Don't be eating. All right, maybe you can take a little bite of a carrot or, breakfast bar, but, that bowl of chili that you're slopping down, the cheese and sauce flying all over the place, it's distracting to those who are trying to learn. So some of the basics, but those are just basics. Going beyond the basics, I am assured that that's what our Premios de Oro winners were doing. They did these things. They kept their cameras on all the time. They understand that 70% of communication is nonverbal. Teachers want to see your face. Premios de Oro students maintain meaningful facial expressions, whether it's smiling, frowning, laughing, even showing confusion. It's a nonverbal way to communicate and let the teacher know you're listening and you understand or don't understand what's being said. Premios students support their teacher and their classmates. And you may say, how's that possible in a virtual environment? Well, we have what we call way-to-go tickets that we give out for students who display the Cerritos way. And we did it again this year in a virtual format. And I asked teachers to submit names into a Google form and then tell me why they were getting this way-to-go ticket. You would be surprised, as I was, for many of those students, it was because they were supporting their classmates or supporting their teacher in the learning. I like the fact that our new graphic arts teacher, Mr. Van Grunau, he created a Don Graphico group designed just to support other students. Most importantly, for those Premios students in a virtual environment, they are engaged. Let me say it again. They are engaged. Because you know what? It's easy to lose focus in a virtual world. Trust me, I've been through many, many Zoom meetings, and it's tough to stay focused. But Premios students, they ask questions, they make comments, they show their interest in learning. Premios de Oro students know that learning is an active pursuit, not a passive one. So, tonight we're celebrating students who are able to exhibit the Premios de Oro characteristics in a virtual world. So that is new, and we are so proud of how they did it this year. Now we call this evening the Premios de Oro, and that translates into golden prizes. And a lot of people think, oh, the golden prizes, that one student from that teacher who receives the medallion receives the golden prize. And if that's what you're thinking, it's kind of clear that maybe you would easily think that. But the truth is, it is the student who is the golden prize in that class. The student that contributed both intellectual and emotional contributions to that class, to that teacher, that earned them that designation of being a golden prize. So, let's get on with celebrating Cerritos High School's golden prizes tonight. And at this time, I'd like to call to the stage our PTSA president, Serena Yuan, who will be presenting the PTSA scholarship. Miss Yuan.
Good evening. I'm Serena Yuan, representing Cerritos High PTSA. It is with great honor to present the winners of the 2021 Junior PTSA Scholarship for the year of this very special time. This year's Junior Scholarship, we start a new prompt to reflect as a nation what we are continuously learning and reflecting and reforming. That is equity and inclusivity. Among 41 juniors who participated in this essay contests, our panel of judges read your essays based on how passionate and committed you are towards the inclusivity in our very diversified community and our school. In addition, we looked at the organization and the format of your essays. Now, I would like to announce the winners, starting with the third place winners, who will each receive $100 from PTSA. And the winners are Mingle Guo, Angela Howe, Annika Nelson, Caitlin Chu, and Erica Lee. Next, the second place winners, who will receive $200 check from PTSA. The winners are Ashley Lee and Annette Rodriguez. Finally, our first place winner, who will receive $300 check. And our first place winner is Parsa Hajipur. On behalf of the board and the members of our PTSA families, congratulations. We're so proud of your dedication, your passion, and your commitment towards the inclusivity in our community. Please know that PTSA Scholarship Committee will reach out to you to arrange the delivery of certificate and check. Please cash your check by June 20th. Our PTSA organization will discontinue by end of June as we move to our new chapter. We're forming a new organization called Cerritos High Education Foundation. Next year, this scholarship program will continue under this new organization, Cerritos High Education Foundation. Please continue to participate in this wonderful program in the spring of 2022. Thank you. And next, I'd like to welcome to the podium Mrs. Monserrate.
Good evening. At this time, I have the honor to highlight our amazing associated student body, otherwise known as our ASB. This amazing group of students work tirelessly all year for our school. They begin their planning of events in the summer and continue throughout the whole year, preparing and planning events for our whole school. They are responsible for all the dances, talent shows, food drives, quad events, virtual events, premieres, random acts of kindness, elections. The list goes on and on and on. They give all of themselves on a daily basis to help make Cerritos High School the great school that it is. Today, each ASB member will be recognized by their advisor with an ASB Leadership Medal to show gratitude for their hard work throughout the year. Please join me in applauding their efforts and thanking them for helping make Cerritos High School the great school it is. At this time, I would like to welcome Mrs. Holly Matchett.
Hello, my name is Holly Matchett, and I'm the Activities Director. Today we are honoring our leadership students, our Commissioners of Publicity, Christina Chi and Roger Duran. Commissioner of Academics and Elections, Hannah Chung. Commissioners of Technology, Sean Nguyen and Colby Dykes. Our Ambassadors of Goodwill, Megan Martinez and Angelina Train. Our Commissioners of Community Relations, Brian Koo and Jaden Zachariah. Our Commissioners of Spirit, Ashton Sousa, Halima Rashid, and Nabisi Nokiti. Our Commissioners of Multicultural Affairs, Lauren Navarro and Renee Kim. Our Commissioners of Activities, Rahul Pratap and Samantha Chang. Our Commissioners of Clubs, Rohan Kumar and Kylie Jo. Our Freshman Treasurer, Jada Kim. Our Freshman Vice President, Jezea Allen. Our Freshman President, Jordan Mai. Our Sophomore Treasurer, Lauren Munda. Our Sophomore Vice President, Amia Dawis. And our Sophomore President, Omar Siddiqui. Our Junior Treasurer, Irene Kim. Junior Vice President, Jana Doshi. And our Junior President, Ben Mendoza. Our Senior Treasurer, Kainoa Paho. Senior Vice President, Mina Hana. Senior President, Lauren Lahano. Our Executive Secretary, Taylor Kim. Executive Treasurer, Lionel Lee. Executive Vice President, William Reed. And Executive President, Victoria Costa. And now, without further ado, I would like to welcome one of our amazing counselors and liaisons to the Visual and Performing Arts Academy Department, Mrs. Megan Kellerman.
Good evening. The following students have been selected by the Visual and Performing Arts Academy Department to receive a Premio de Oro medallion. For Mrs. Quiggle, Megan Vista. For Mr. Reader, Owen Tai. For Mr. Rodriguez, CJ Nickdow. For Mr. Van Granal, Leiloni Pina. For Mr. Barrier, Anjali Manny. For Ms. Weave, Danita Jame Mercado. For Ms. Yamashita, Joanna Lee. For Mr. Zamora, Lisel Aruz Valesio. I would now like to welcome our department chair and teacher, Mr. David Hind, to present the medallion winners for the English department.
The following students have been recognized for Premio Awards by the English department. For Mrs. Adams, Araya Gijo. For Mrs. Bradley, Aryan Mohane. For Mr. Hind, Janelle Santos. For Mr. Jepson, Bryce Hojo. For Ms. Joseph, Javier Lopez. For Mrs. Lake, Kenneth Massa. For Ms. Lee, Peter Monfort. For Mrs. Lim, Mia Ferrero. For Mr. Marzo, Jane Jung. For Mr. Madison, Alan On. For Ms. Rogan Robertson, Deborah Song. For Mr. Shin, Brian Wood. For Mr. Stevens, Evelyn Kim. For Mr. Verrier, Angelina Lee. And for Ms. Yamaguchi, Amia Joy Dawis. I would now like to welcome one of our teachers and the department chair of the World Language Department, Ms. Allison Marcroft.
The following students have been recognized by the World Languages Department. Mr. Celadon, Kivi Kaur. Ms. Fidel, Leilani Sison. Profe Idibarne, Agni Gijo. Ms. Ko, Michelle Lee. Mrs. Marcroft, Evan Carter. Miss Oliva, Jacqueline Porciuncola. Miss Oliveira, Lily Montañez. Mrs. Park, Evelyn Kim. Maestra Kini, Olivia Thiering. Miss Shiozaki Kawamoto, Catherine Ishii. Miss Bermulin, Liana Manzo. Profe Villalon, Mariana Alonso Olmos. I would now like to welcome one of our teachers and the department chair of our life program, Mrs. Brittany Parker Gooden.
The following students have been recognized by the life program. For Miss Yulberg, Elijah Ayala. For Mrs. Laichai, Ezekiel Sarabia. And for me, Roman Sun. I would now like to welcome two of our teachers and co-department chairs for the math department, Mrs. Jennifer Foss and Mr. Wong Mai.
The following students have been recognized by the math department. For Mr. Adams, Leanna May Virginio. For Mr. Baumler, Agni Jiho. For Mrs. Cow, Luis Manuel Ariola. For Mrs. Foss, Samto Eza. For Mrs. Fitterer, Jose Cardenas. For Mrs. Lee, Jada Ramos.
For Mr. Mai and student teacher Mrs. Claudia Camacho, Desney Hadley. For Mr. McGrew, Hanjen or Nina Lee. For Mrs. Morita, Adrienne Trung. For Mr. Pack, Brianna Cuison. For Ms. Preciado, Caitlin Huang. For Ms. Shin, Silvina Montiel. For Ms. Tang, Angelina Lee. For Mrs. Wadamar, Samuel Zambrano. And Mr. Woolridge, Nicole Zhao. I would like to now welcome one of our teachers, Mr. Jeff Madison, to read the medallion recipients for our PE department.
The following students have been recognized by the Physical Education Department. Mr. Denhart, Ryan Trin. For Miss Odom, Mariah Anamos. For Mr. Parsonage, Jack Falcon. And for Mr. Reed, Advita Tak. I would now like to welcome one of our counselors, Mrs. Megan Kellerman, to read the medallion recipients for the Career and Technical Education Department.
Good evening. The following students have been recognized by the Career and Technical Education Department. For Mr. Crow, Alexis Manalastis. For Mr. Cuthbert, Leilani Morante. For Mr. Dewar, Brendan Vecharungsri. For Mrs. Gonzalez, Ganelin Torres. For Mr. Jernigan, George Paracal. For Mr. Park, Janelle Santos. For Mrs. Rayum, Francis Tanglao. For Mr. Turek, Ariana Mendoza. I would now like to welcome our Dean and Counselor, Mr. James Beck, to read the medallion recipients for our Science Department.
Hello everyone. The following students have been recognized by the Science and Health Science Department. For Mr. Calhoun, Lealta Tibet. For Mr. Centeno, Hanjen Nina Lee. For Mrs. Goss, Brian Fan. For Mr. Honda, Yahaira Lopez Esparza. For Mr. Hoyer, Caitlin Sugita. For Mr. Kato, Michaela Guerrero. For Miss Rebelar, Ishan Bott. For Mr. Sanchez, Amia Joy Daus. For Mr. Stone, Amanda Tay. And for Mr. Vo, Audrey Lee. I would now like to welcome one of our assistant principals, Mrs. Jessica Monzerati, to read the medallion recipients for our social science department.
The following students have been recognized by the Social Science Department. For Mrs. An, Julian Francis Anchetta. For Mr. Monty Armstrong, Shreya Anyumarlu. For Mr. Stephen Armstrong, Janelle Santos. For Coach Carter, Amber Fields. For Miss Harding, Jessica Gayton. For Miss Lee, Chanel Asharaya. For Mrs. Matchett, Victoria Costa. For Miss Middleton, Shahiti Yen Amula. For Mr. Mustard, Hannah An. For Miss Nicholson, Emma Parker. For Mr. Sossaman, Haley Rodriguez. For Mr. Stecker, Sylvina Montiel. For Mr. Thompson, Adrian Shimizu. For Mr. Toyama, Michelle Wang. For Mr. Jason Watanabe, Michael Mengitsu. For Mr. Jonathan Watanabe, Malia Requejo. I would now like to ask our principal, Mr. Patrick Walker, to come back onto the podium to close the ceremony.
All right, Premios de Oro. What a great concept. What a great evening. Thank you for participating tonight. You know, when I think back to my teaching days, I can recall times when I had that one student in class who made all of the difference. And if that student was absent that day, you'd realize he or she was gone. And boy, did you celebrate that time when he or she returned. I didn't have a word for it then, but certainly they were golden prizes in my teaching career. They had a positive impact on my classroom. And parents, students, you should be so proud of this honor because it says you were a positive impact, you alone, the power that you had. Amazing, amazing. And it's also amazing that you did it in a virtual environment, almost more impressive than any other year, correct? So on behalf of your teachers, students, I thank you for being golden prizes. Now before we close this evening, I also want to thank our teacher presenters, our virtual producer, Mr. Rodriguez, and his CHTV team, and mostly our Premios de Oro coordinator, Ms. Kellerman. Now to our audience, thanks to all of you for watching. And for now, please stay tuned as our Premios de Oro names scroll up on the screen. Have a great evening.
'Cause I'm on top of the world, eh? I'm on top of the world, eh? Waiting on this for a while now, paying my dues to the dirt. I've been waiting to smile, eh? Been holding it in for a while, eh? Take you with me if I can. Been dreaming of this since a child. I'm on top of the world.
I've tried to cut these corners, try to take the easy way out. I kept on falling short of something. I could have gave up then, but then again I couldn't have, 'cause I've traveled all this way for something. I take it in but don't look down.
'Cause I'm on top of the world, eh? I'm on top of the world, eh? Waiting on this for a while now, paying my dues to the dirt. I've been waiting to smile, eh? Been holding it in for a while, eh? Take you with me if I can. Been dreaming of this since a child. I'm on top of the world. 'Cause I'm on top of the world, eh? I'm on top of the world.